All right, today we're tackling one of the internet's most, let's say, controversial empires, OnlyFans. But look, we're not here to talk about the content. We're here to talk about the money, and more importantly, the single fatal flaw that could bring the whole thing crashing down. And that brings us to this question, right? How can a company pulling in over $6.5 billion a year be just one bad phone call away from total collapse? It's a crazy paradox. It's like this massive, profitable empire is built on a foundation of sand. So today, we're going to dig into how it was built, what that fatal flaw is, and maybe a pretty radical way it could save itself. Okay, Act 1, the unfiltered engine. So before we can get to the risk, we've got to understand the machine itself. We have to look at how OnlyFans built this just brilliant model that completely took over a huge, and I mean huge, underserved market. And when I say huge, I mean just look at this number, $6.63 billion. That's how much money fans spent on the platform in 2023 alone. You know, this isn't some niche little corner of the internet anymore. This is a full-blown digital economy. We're talking larger than the GDP of quite a few countries. It's staggering. So where's all that cash coming from? You'd probably guess it's mostly monthly subscriptions, right? I mean, that's what we hear about. But the data tells a totally different story. Almost 60% of the revenue comes from one-off purchases, things like tips, pay-per-view messages, that kind of stuff. This is so important because it shows OnlyFans isn't just a content library like Netflix. No, it's a super high-speed, direct-to-consumer sales machine. And the fuel for that machine, it was this beautifully simple promise, the 80-20 split. Creators keep 80 cents of every dollar they earn. Now, you have to remember, this was in a world where other platforms had these confusing algorithms and ad revenues that went up and down like a yo-yo. So this simple, transparent deal, it was a revolution. It gave creators predictable income, real financial control, something they just couldn't get anywhere else. And that simple contract, well, it kicked off this incredibly powerful flywheel. You know, in the business world, they call it a two-sided network effect. It's pretty straightforward. Creators joined because the deal was so good. That attracted more fans. More fans meant creators could earn more money, which, you guessed it, attracted even more creators. It's this perfect self-reinforcing cycle, and it's what built what looked like an impenetrable fortress. Act 2, a fortress on fault lines. So, about that impenetrable fortress, what if it was built right on top of a massive seismic fault line? Because for all of its incredible strength, the entire platform has one singular, catastrophic weakness. And this is that powerful engine we were just talking about. This cycle, this moat around the business, is exactly what's at risk. It's what makes the whole thing so valuable and so hard to compete with. But the whole thing, every single part of it is built on one critical assumption, that the money can actually keep flowing in and out. And folks, that assumption is dangerously, dangerously wrong. Because here it is. This is the Achilles heel. The entire $6.5 billion fortress is powered by someone else, an external source. We're talking traditional financial institutions, Visa, Mastercard, the big banks. And these guys, they look at OnlyFans' core business and see one giant flashing red light that says reputational risk. And this isn't just a theory. This vulnerability became terrifyingly real back in August of 2021. For 6 days, the entire creator economy just held its breath. The world got a front row seat to the fact that OnlyFans was absolutely not in control of its own destiny. The banks made a call, and the whole empire almost came crumbling down. Just like that. And you don't have to take my word for it. The CEO at the time, Tim Stokely, he straight up admitted they were powerless. When he was asked why they were suddenly banning their core product, his answer was brutally honest. The short answer is banks. I mean, think about that. It was a jaw-dropping admission that a couple of executives in a boardroom somewhere could just flip a switch and turn off their entire multi-billion-dollar company. Now they did reverse the decision. After a huge backlash from creators, they walked it back. But here's the thing. Nothing was actually solved. all that crisis did was pull back the curtain and show everyone the permanent ticking time bomb at the very heart of the business. The threat is still there, just waiting. Which brings us to Act 3, the unbanking pivot. This is where we get to the future, and a really radical idea for how they could survive. What if OnlyFans could take its greatest weakness and somehow forge it into its strongest, most defensible weapon? Okay, so right now, the company seems to be trying to chase mainstream acceptance. Adding safe-for-work content to try and make the banks happy. But honestly, that's a dead end. It just annoys their core users, and suddenly they're trying to compete with giants like Patreon and YouTube, which is a game they can't win. The only real path forward, the only one that solves the core problem, is to stop trying to please the old system and just become a new one. And what does that look like? It's a huge shift in identity. The vision is to evolve from just being a content platform into becoming the creator's bank. Think about it. They stop being just a host for content and start being a financial services company for the entire unbankable economy, building their own self-sufficient, censorship-resistant system for all the creators that traditional finance has left behind. So how could they actually pull this off? Well, here's a possible roadmap. Year 1 is all about laying the foundation. First, you announce this new mission, something like Creator Financial Sovereignty. Then you launch the beta for something called OF Pay. This would be their own native digital wallet. And here's the key part. It pays creators in stablecoins, crypto that's pegged to the dollar. This is the first crucial step to cutting the cord with the banks that hold them hostage. Then, in year 2, you actually build the bank. You roll out OF Pay to everyone, and then you start introducing financial products. Think things inspired by DeFi or decentralized finance. You let creators earn interest, yield, on their balances. Maybe you even let them take out small loans against their future earnings. And all of it happens right inside the OnlyFans ecosystem. No bank manager, no loan application, no. By year 3, it gets even bigger. You expand to the whole ecosystem. Maybe you launch a marketplace for NFTs or other kinds of verifiably owned digital content. And then the end game. You could even open up that OF Pay system as a B2B service for other companies. OnlyFans would become the financial backbone, the payment rails for the entire high-risk creator economy. They'd be indispensable. So why does this work? Well, the strategic genius here is that you're building a new, much deeper moat around the business. Think about it. A creator might leave for a competitor that has a slightly better video player or cooler features. But are they going to leave the platform that is also their bank, their lender, their investment manager? No way. The platform becomes absolutely essential. It becomes too sticky to leave. And this gets at a much bigger question, doesn't it? Maybe the future of the whole creator economy isn't just about who has the best content tools. Maybe it's about who actually controls the flow of money. If OnlyFans did this, they wouldn't just be securing their own empire. They would be fundamentally changing the power dynamics for a whole generation of digital entrepreneurs. The lesson here is way bigger than just one company. So really, OnlyFans is facing a choice. It can either stay as a vulnerable content host, always looking over its shoulder, or it can become an indispensable financial utility. And its story is a huge lesson for the entire creator economy. It shows that creator empowerment, that phrase every platform loves to throw around, it's not really about cool features or fair algorithms. It's about who controls the money. Full stop. Which leads to the multi-billion-dollar question, right? Can they actually pull off a pivot this radical? Or are they just a one-trick pony, forever destined to be held hostage by the old financial guard? I'm really curious what you think their next move should be. Let us know down in the comments.